Shalom, this is a Beak back with another edification. I want to thank all 210 of my subscribers, and I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits, and I want to wish all of my subscribers and your loved ones are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. All right, I want to definitely say Thawada Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right, this is a beautiful time to separate and to be separated from America and the foolishness of America. Today I want to discuss monogamy. And we're going to go to the definition of monogamy. It says, practice of marrying only once in a lifetime. Practice of marrying only once in a lifetime, right? Marrying only once in a lifetime, all right? Salakia. This is a Latin, Salakia, this is a Latin word, and I'm not Latin, and Americans speak Latin, and the definitions of the English language is Latin, right? Sometimes they'll say Greek, but the Greeks, the Greeks were the so-called whites. Okay, before the so-called whites conquered that land, Greece, the people that were in the land of Greece before Alexander conquered that land, Greece, the people there were Israelites. All right. Now, I want to get into monogamy, and I'm going to discuss monogamy. This word monogamy, it contradicts the Bible. All right. It says, as condition of being married to only one person at a time. One person at a time. Well, females can marry multiple times. According to scripture, so-called Black, Latino, Native American women can only marry again after their previous husband is deceased. But since we're here in America behind enemy lines and the so-called whites have conquered this land and the laws of this land are not biblical law, the laws of America are man-made laws, right? Shows the faith of the majority of the people here. They're idol worshipers, or they worship the creature more than the creator over here in America. So men like myself are considered separate from America because I don't consider myself an American, and I don't consider myself African American, black, okay? Black culture doesn't exist without white culture because black culture is white culture, all right? Monogamy. It says from Greek monogamia, single marriage, all right? Monogamos, all right? Marrying only once, right? It says monos, right? Single, alone, all right? The Western female, she doesn't know how to be with just one man. She doesn't know how to be with just one man, okay? And what I mean by that is you have the sexual promiscuity, right? Promiscuous females. But then there's this female that can't even keep one man. She can't even keep one man when she's with a man. Okay, when she's with one man. I'm sure that these females have been with one man at a time, right? Whether it's for 5 minutes or, one relationship at a time. However these females go about being with men one at a time. My thing is they can't keep one man. These females do not know how to keep one man. Okay? And they can't even keep a man if they have his children. They can't support a man that has. They can't support a man that they get pregnant by. They don't know how to support one man to keep one man. The men over here in America, or the males over here in America, have made it very easy for these females to not be with one man, right? Whether they're virgins, starting off as virgins, or whether they look for lovers after they get pregnant, or whether they continue to find more lovers after a failed boyfriend and girlfriend, because that's not a relationship, okay? Monogamy. The females here in America cannot keep one man. They can't even fulfill one man to keep one man. The guys over here in America, they find themselves in and out of situations with these females. I don't call them relationships with these females because it's really just situations. Boyfriend and girlfriend is not a relationship. Dating is not a relationship. Being a baby mama is not a relationship. And divorcing men is not a relationship. Okay, and pulling the plug on relationships or situations is not a relationship. So these American females have had, they've had the advantage when it comes to the children, having the children, redefining what family is. The so-called black community is full of these single, these unmarried females with children, giving birth to children out of situations that are not marriage. That's monogamy. Monogamy, for the most part, is dominated by females. The females are the main ones with multiple children by multiple men, but they're pushing monogamy. Monogamy has been chewed up and spit out. Monogamy has been hijacked by whole culture, homosexuality, religion, single motherhood, right? STDs, okay? The reason why monogamy doesn't work is because it's not for the Israelite man, woman, and child. The so-called black woman, she can't even keep one man. She can't even keep a man that she has children with. She can't even keep that guy. And I mean that because I had a conversation with this female recently, and we talked about monogamy. And I was mentioning to her how monogamy is dangerous because the females are crash outs when it comes to monogamy. The females are not even monogamous. They date multiple men at a time. Dating is not even courtship. The females are females who push monogamy are not good at being monogamous. They demonize their grandmother's marriage with their grandfathers. Okay. Monogamy is full of females that are accusing men of, having multiple lovers, having multiple females. All right, like the T app, it's full of females who are not virgins, who has had multiple lovers throughout their life. They have multiple children, accusing men of having multiple females or multiple situations. I won't even call it relationships, because the biggest crash outs are females who promote monogamy, and they're not good at being with one man. I mean, when I see these females in America, they're some of the biggest haters of of the nature of men. They demonize the nature of men, and I'm not even pushing multiple wives on this video. I want to talk about monogamy and how terrible monogamy has become. Monogamy is full of a bunch of bitter, like they got a bunch of bitter bitches over there. The older bitches are the worst, and then the older bitches can barely make it to obtaining a marriage. When they do get a marriage, the older bitches, they like to talk about how good of a man they got and how lazy they are when it comes to having a lover or having a husband. They love to see a man that's like a simp, all right, that's going to go out his way to make sure she's straight. But these females are not, I'm talking about the older females, they're not promoting their deeds and how righteous they are with their husbands. They're more like talking about how these males that they suckered into a relationship is taking care of her and how good he is to her. See, I always ran away from females who were looking for good men and men that were going to be protectors and providers. I was like, that shit is stupid. I'm not a protector of these females over here in America, here behind enemy lines, and I'm definitely not a provider. I do not protect these females over here in America, and I do not provide for these females here in America, okay? But monogamy is full of a bunch of females that are not virgins, and they do not even keep the commandments of the Most High God, Yahweh. Most of them are idol worshipers, all right? Most of them have been ran through, all right? They're already on their, 17th lover, okay? They cannot hold out and go somewhere and get ready for what they want. All right, the females here in America do a terrible job at even being prepared for what they're looking for. Okay? They're not even prepared for what they're looking for. They have a lifestyle of sexual deviancy, okay? And they rotate these men or these guys. They rotate these guys. And I think for the most part, they're running out of options for the most part. They're running out of lovers to overtake, all right? This dating scene is nothing but prostitution and low-class escorting. I never dated so-called black females. And especially today, how the world is experiencing black female fatigue, only an idiot will take these females serious, man. All right? They date for help. They don't date for husbands. They date for help. These females are bums. They don't know how to turn $100 into $1,000. They don't know how to start a business. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to write. All right? And then they're idol worshipers, like I said before, which means they're indoctrinated with all of this Western garbage. That white Jesus bullshit. And, they're still the enemy of of the men of the Lord. So I don't, let's get into this guy. I'm not talking to the men of the world. I'm explaining to the men that are, sick of this world. This is Second Esdras 14, all right? And this is Esdras, all right, talking to Most High Yahweh, all right? And just to give some, just to discuss how this world is full of shit. And the scriptures what saved me from this world, okay? The word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, saved me from this world. All right, now I get to sit back and talk about this world like this ain't my time right now. This ain't my time right now. That's why I say, to hell with this world. It says, on the third day, while I was sitting under an oak, suddenly a voice came out of a bush opposite me and said, Esdras, Esdras. And I answered, here I am, Lord. I rose to my feet. Then he said to me, I revealed myself in a bush and spoke to Moses, just the Lord, Yahweh, when my people were in bondage, referring to the Exodus, all right, out of Egypt, all right? And it says, and I sent him and led my people. Who's it? Who's his people? So-called Black, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child, all right? The Israelite. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt and led him up on Mount Sinai, where I kept him with me many days. I told him many wondrous things and showed him the secrets of the times and declared to him the end of times. The end of times, okay? Here in America, behind enemy lines, it's just a matter of time. And I'd rather discuss the downfall of America, and I'd rather discuss the demise of the females over here in America that have played a part in the burning down of the village, all right? The family, all right? The unit, all right? The unity, all right? And and again, monogamy had a lot to do with this. The feminist movement, where these females were recruited by these different agendas against the nature of men. All right, the nature of the Israelite man. It says, then I commanded him, saying, these words you shall publish openly, and these you shall keep secret. All right, talking about the scriptures. All right, talking about the scriptures, the Bible. All right, lay up in your heart the signs that I have shown you, the dreams that you have seen, and the interpretations that you have heard. All right, for you shall be taken up from among humankind, and henceforth you shall live with my son, Yahweh Shai, and with those who are those, the elect, and with those who are like you, the Israelite man, woman, and child, okay, the elect, until the times are ended. Until the times are ended. Slovakia. Let all this noise go past. And look, I'm discussing monogamy, but I'm reading about the times that we're living in, all right? The times that we're living in, 2025, here behind enemy lines, here in America. America will be destroyed, and these females will be destroyed, along with their children, all right? And the males who oppose the truth of the Bible, all right, known as the two-thirds. I'm just discussing the times because monogamy has been one of the nails in the coffin of America. Monogamy. Monogamy promotes whoredom. All right, monogamy talks about being married only once, practice of marrying only once in a lifetime. But that we know that's not true over here. These females are not having sex while married, and they're not giving birth to children while married. So, if there is no such possibility as a family a family being started over here in America, then what we have is a bunch of unmarried females having children out of wedlock. And for the most part, monogamy was a part of the problem. All right, monogamy is a part of the problem because what it did is it divided the females from the family structure. It's not necessarily the men are hurting because these females do not want to be a wife. It's that the land is polluted. All right, it's polluted with a bunch of fornication, idolatry, and whoredom. All right, a lot of unchecked sexuality, which destroys the chance of a family ever happening. So what we have is a bunch of females over here who look for stepdaddies after they've given up their sex to men that they didn't want to be with, right? So they don't know how to choose one man, all right? They don't know how to choose one man to be with, all right? They don't know how to choose one man, and they don't know how to keep themselves from having relations with multiple men. It's like getting ready for what you're looking for. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to do that. So what they do is they keep themselves available to meet more men over and over again. They don't take marriage serious. They don't take having a family serious, all right? The females don't over here in the West, all right? It says this: the age has lost its youth, all right? This place is getting old. And the times begin to grow old, for the age is divided into 12 parts, okay? Now, we're near the end of this second world, okay? The first world was destroyed by the flood, but this time it's gonna be destroyed with nuclear fire. But here in Edris is reading about the ages that we're in. It's almost like sitting down. Reading Edris is like sitting down with Morpheus in the Matrix, and Morpheus was explaining to Neo what time it is, what year it is. And Morpheus showed Neo what reality looks like, and it was like engulfed in flames, and there was no life, all right? It was just, everything was destroyed, all right? It says, for the age is divided into 12 parts, all right? 12 parts. And 9 of its parts have already passed, okay? As well as half of the 10th part. So 2 of its parts remain besides half of the 10th part, okay? So we should be damn near in the 12th part right now, all right? It says, besides half of the 10th part, now therefore set your house in order and reprove your people, comfort the lowly among them, and instruct those who are wise. Talking about the elect, talking about the hopeful elect. And now, I'm in a quiet place. There's just a lot going on while I'm trying to read this word. This is a quiet place. There's just a lot going on while I'm trying to read this word. Okay. It says, and instruct those who are wise, and now renounce the life that is corruptible. And monogamy, for the most part, is corruptible. It's corruptible, and it's already corrupt because the females are writing the rules of dating. Females are writing the rules of being monogamous, okay, and they're failing. They're failing, all right? They're failing. They're failing the children, and they're failing the outcome, all right? They fail. They're like repeat offenders at this point. They're like washing, rinsing, and repeating the cycle of failure. Monogamy it doesn't work. It doesn't work because the females don't take it serious. If they did, then they would have a higher success rate for monogamy. Monogamy has been hijacked by homosexuality, idol worshiping, Jesus, okay, hoe culture, okay, hoe culture, and monogamy, for the most part, does not promote virginity. So you have a bunch of non-virgins promoting monogamy. You have a bunch of single mothers promoting monogamy. How stupid is that? Monogamy doesn't work because it's oversaturated with a bunch of females who refuse to go to school and use their degree money to find them a husband. Their whole lifestyle is based on men sponsoring it. These females date and don't pay. They have relationships and don't pay. What's the point? The outcome of these females is the same. Wash, rinse, repeat. They fail. And they're too busy looking for a guy to conform to their idea of getting to know them. They fail. All right? They're struggling. And they're crashing out. And for the most part, being monogamous with these females, it gives them the license to kill men, children, and old people, and to kill themselves. These females, all of monogamy gives them the license to crash out. That's why I say no to monogamy. They are the ultimate crash outs, and they don't even come ready. They're not financially available. I could see if dating these women or dating these females was like a bunch of females that are financially available, all right? They would have a greater outcome if they were financially available, if they were more fit for duty of marriage, if they were virgins, holding, like if they were groomed to be wives, like the woman in Coming to America jumping up and down on one leg. I would much rather have her. At least she was born to serve as a wife, and she was groomed from birth to be with a man of the Lord, a prince, a king. These females in America, they don't know how to be monogamous. And I mean when they've had every opportunity to be monogamous and they failed. When I meet females who have children, look, I'm damn near 1 foot. I got 2 feet, 1 toe in the door, 9 toes out the door. It gotta be something different for me to stick around. And she can't look for help. Don't be looking. These females want help. They need help even to be in a relationship. They're like children who are not ready. Okay? You got a talent show. They're somewhere getting ready for this talent show. You have a song to sing. They're somewhere practicing this song. But when it comes to a marriage with a so-called black man, they're not ready. Kevin Samuels told them they need to go get therapy to be with a black man. They laughed at him, and they're not ready to be with a man, especially a man of the Lord, a prince, all right, a king. They don't know how to be with one man. The sex is not going to keep a man. They're not financially available. All right? They're spirit. They're idol worshipers. All right? They practice paganism too damn much. All they want to do is have fun, party, celebrate birthdays, and spend money on bullshit. So the outcome of the Western female, it's just not there. The juice is not worth the squeeze over here with these females. It doesn't matter if they're making six figures or not. It doesn't matter. All of them have the same foundation. All right, they're not financially available, and they're not saying the things that that marriage needs to. They don't even talk like they're, like I said, monogamy sucks because the females don't know how to be with one man. Again, I could see if they were over here, if this country was like full of these females that were groomed to be with a prince. No, they're groomed to be with a worldly man. They're groomed to be with someone that is just as just that they just as an unbeliever as they are, right? And Edris is going to get into this. Now watch this. It says, and renounce the life that is corruptible, and put away from you the mortal thoughts. And for the most part, trying to find a wife amongst these females, it's like having mortal thoughts. All right, so worldly. These females are not spiritually inclined. They're not amongst the hopeful elect females. All right, monogamy is wicked. It's not for the man of the Lord that desires multiple wives and all of that. And again, it doesn't even have to be the multiple wives thing over here. Monogamy is not for the men of the Lord because these Western females, they choose monogamy as a license to kill the man if he's dealing with somebody else. So it's not a good idea. All right, these females find it. There's plenty of footage of these females killing men and going to court and explaining to the judge and justifying the reason she killed him. All right, and she'll still go to jail. She'll still go to prison, but she justifies killing the men by saying he cheated and da 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 da. And I'm thinking, hell no. When does monogamy give people the license to kill people? So that's a lack of faith. All right, killing somebody, right? Doesn't give you the license to kill. They kill babies. Okay, monogamy gives these women license to kill babies. All right, all of these abortions are not due to unwanted sex. All right, so license to kill children, license to kill men. That's what monogamy does too. See, the Bible doesn't give us. We can't even carry out the punishments over here in America. The punishments of the Bible. So a woman having a license to kill men and babies, that's not even lawful according to the Bible. So choosing a female that is not grounded in the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah is a death sentence. Monogamy is a death sentence over here in America because the so-called black woman, she's the problem. Okay? Monogamy is anything that this so-called black female is a part of is dangerous. She's a part of whole culture. That's dangerous. She's spreading STDs and stuff. She's not being sexually responsible. All right. Anything she's a part of is a threat to the so-called black, Latino, Native American man, woman, and child. All right. Anything she's a part of is a death sentence. All right. Let's see. And put away from you mortal thoughts, cast away from you the burdens of humankind. All right, the burdens of humankind, cast away from, that's the universalism. The Western man, woman, and child, or the Western female, male, and child, the two-third idol worshiping Christian man, woman, and child, these Gentile man, woman, and children, that they promote universalism. Cast away from you the burdens of humankind. See, I'm not trying to save the world, you know, to hell with all that save the world stuff. So cast away from you the burdens of humankind. For me, that says universalism. Stop trying to save the world. Stop trying to go around talking about somewhere there's somebody having a birthday, somewhere there's somebody who's sad. All that universal talk. That's trash. That's what those evangelists be doing. 1-800-Jesus, call for a blessing. All that universalism. And divest yourself means separate. And separate yourself now of your weak nature. Well, the weak nature is going to be the worldly nature. Okay, trying to love everybody and act like God love everybody and all that foolishness. That's not true. All right? It says 16, lay to one side the thoughts that are most grievous to you. See? And that's why I say to hell with the children, to hell with these females. But again, this is only for the elect. Anyone that's in the world trying to still look for love amongst these 2/3 females, this is going to offend you. And by now, you've already left this video. All right, this is not for you. All right. It says, "And hurry to escape from these times." Hurry to escape from these times. All right. In 2025, we still have the so-called black man, woman, and child running around here worshiping Jesus. In 2025, white supremacy is still a threat. It's still in place. This place is getting old though. It's old, and I'm already done. You know what I'm saying? That's why I know this ain't my time, because I can talk about this time and say fuck these bitches, fuck these children, to hell with Jesus. See, I'm this ain't my time. This ain't my time. All right, this ain't my time. It says, "For evils worse than those that you have now seen happen shall take place hereafter." All right? You got to get prepared for what's about to come. There's no need to get prepared for what's happening right now. If you're not amongst the hopeful elect, this moment right now is time for the Gentiles. They're having their way right now. The females are hoes. The children don't stand a chance. They being born out of wedlock. All right. There's no relationships. Monogamy. Monogamy messed up everything. All right, because even that has been hijacked by, like I said, whole culture. I'm gonna keep repeating it. Whole culture, idol worshiping Jesus, the idol worshiping of Jesus. Monogamy has been hijacked by that. Feminism. All right. Voting, politics. All right. Monogamy has been hijacked and destroyed and burnt down by females. Monogamy does not work. It's being pushed by a bunch of females who have children by multiple men. How does that work? How are these females crashing out over men having multiple lovers when these females have had multiple lovers? Right? I know that monogamy has not put hoes in charge of monogamy. I know monogamy didn't put a bunch of heifers, scallywags, you know what I'm saying, in charge of monogamy. All right? Monogamy has been hijacked by bitches, all right, who can't keep a man. All right? Monogamy was never hijacked by the men. Monogamy was hijacked by the females who can't keep a relationship, who've divorced over and over again, who have children by multiple lovers over the course of their lifetime. They're not virgins. They don't promote virginity. How did monogamy get hijacked by a bunch of females who are not monogamous? Okay? So I've never been monogamous. I'm not down with that. All right? I'm not down with a woman trying to crash out on me because she's jealous because there's other females that are attracted to me. And I have every right to have multiple wives and to have multiple women. That's my belief. That's my faith. That's my value system. That's my foundation. Another thing about monogamy is the females over there don't respect no other values. All right? And again, STDs is over there with that monogamous stuff. All right? All of these females that say they want a guy that doesn't cheat. Okay, well, these women are not virgins. That's why I said, damn, monogamy has been hijacked by females that are not even virgins. So it's a bunch of monogamy is a death sentence. That's what I say. Monogamy is a death sentence. All right, and then when again, they're worldly. All right, a bunch of worldly ass males and females over there in monogamy. All right, bunch of wicked ass females over there. Bunch of wicked ass so-called black females over there. All right, who has you know destroyed marriages, destroyed relationships with children and fathers, got men deleted and killed babies. You know, it just goes on and on. All right, just a bunch of vomit over there with monogamy. 17, for the weaker of the world becomes through old age. The more shall evils be increased upon its inhabitants. Truth shall go farther away. Okay? Truth shall go farther away. Separation. All right? Removing ourselves. All right? And falsehood shall come near. See? So the first thing that I see with monogamy being a problem is it destroyed the values of the Israelite man, woman, and child. What were the values before Christianity? What was the values before monogamy? How did we get this far? We didn't get this far with monogamy. All right, a bunch of females giving birth to children and a bunch of so-called black communities being hijacked by women in the black church. All right, look around. There's nothing in the so-called black community but a damn church and a bunch of single mothers and a bunch of males that don't call no shots. All right, you got some male gangbangers and terrorists. They'll rob you. All right, but you're not about to find no kingdoms in the so-called black community. It says 18, truth shall go farther away, and falsehood shall come near. For the eagle that you saw in the vision is already hurrying to come. So the eagle, I would assume that is the Edomites. Before they rose into rulership, he was prophesying to Ezra and showing him the future. It says, Ezra's concerned to restore the scriptures. Then I answered and said, let me speak in your presence, Lord, for I will go as you have commanded me, and I will reprove the people who are now living. I will reprove the people who are now living. Who is that? That's those people, those men that had this, those hopeful elect men, all right? Those hopeful elect men like myself who were not offended, but those who are already in the spirit, all right? I will reprove those who are now living, but look at this now, but who will warn those who will be born hereafter? Who will warn those who will be born hereafter, right? Talking about those who would die from on this side. In 2025 here in Babylon, here behind enemy lines here in America, those that will be born hereafter, all right, he's asking about those who will be destroyed, all right, before the kingdom. He says, for the world lies in darkness, right, because of these religions and these unbelievers. It says, and its inhabitants are without light, okay? Talking about those who don't believe in this truth, all right? Those who don't believe in this truth, all right? They're without light. They don't have the truth. What will happen to those who don't accept this truth? That's what he's asking. It says, for your law has been burned. For your law has been burned, so no one knows the things that have been done or will be done by you. Okay, so again, the hopeful elect They understand the difference between Gentiles and the elect. And then you have these out of course Gentile Christian man, woman, and child who refuse to accept Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, as their Lord and Savior. So Ezra is asking the Lord, what will happen to those who don't believe because they don't keep the law and they don't consider the reward of those who do? Okay? So he's asking, 22, if then I have found favor with you, send the Holy Spirit into me, and I will write everything that has happened in the world from the beginning, the things that were written in your law, okay, in your law, so that people may be able to find the path. See, find the path, and those who want to live in the last days may do so. So we're in the last days here behind enemy lines here in America, and one of the things that I studied here in America is monogamy. Monogamy is a death sentence for the men of the Lord. If a man chooses to have one woman, then that's his permission. All right. If he wants more than one wife, then again, it's not a law, but it is a permission, and the men of the Lord have every right to have multiple women. And it's interesting that this world over here in America, here behind enemy lines, monogamy. I wanted to talk about monogamy, and I'm gonna keep talking about monogamy only because I don't want to get carried away with anything else with this video. I want to talk about monogamy only because monogamy is another death sentence along with idol worshiping and along with being a two-third and an unbeliever. Monogamy, for the most part, when I look at it, I say it and I said it before and I'm going to say it again. The females do not know how to be with one man. All right? America's not full of these amazing females that are virgins running around here ready to start a family, and they're financially available to start a family and to generate some wealth. We're at the end of this shit. If any man is still looking for a wife at this point in America, be cautious. All right, this place is over. It's like looking for a woman when the club is closing and the lights is cutting on and the DJ is up there playing that get out the club music. It's too late to try to look for a wife over here, man. They're not virgins, and they really are not. If they're not amongst the hopeful elect females, then the outcome is going to be the same, man. It's going to be the wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat, man. These females get the same outcome. They've gotten the same outcome. You got women in their 70s talking about they're still dating with a purpose. You got women that are in their 20s talking about they're dating with a purpose. When does this shit stop with these females? I don't think it will, because for the most part, these females have had the children. You got a lot of guys who don't even know their children. They don't even know where their children are. And they're not these deadbeats that everybody's talking about. These females are the deadbeats because they're not monogamous. They've never gotten married, and according to their own definition, monogamy is like having one marriage at a time. It's like having one marriage at a time. Doesn't mean they have to only be married once and they can't marry again. The Bible is what explains how their sexuality holds them accountable and how their previous lover is their husband. These females have had multiple lovers, over 20 lovers in most cases. Out of all those 20 lovers, these females didn't find someone they want to be with forever. Well, then that's an adulteress. All right, that's an adulteress. So let's talk about this, man. We're just gonna read a little more. I'm reading about the world because monogamy is another death sentence for the men of the Lord. It's a crash out, right? It's a crash out relationship. These females, they do not know how to pick a man, and they do not know how to be with a man, to be with one man. They don't know how to be with one man. They're not amazing at being with one man. He answered me and said, go and gather the people and tell them not to seek you for 40 days, but prepare for yourself many writing tablets and take with you Syria, Debria, Selemia, Ethanas, and Aziel, these five who are trained to write rapidly. So some scribes and scribbles, all right, so he can write the Bible. And you shall come here, and I will light your heart the lamp of understanding, which shall not put out until what you are about to write is finished. So it's like the book of Eli. You know, the book of Eli was pretty much the movie. The book of Eli pretty much was created after Esdras. Esdras pretty much, when discovered by these men of the world, they will write a movie based on Esdras. Esdras was taken out of the Bible, like the rest of the Apocrypha, but the KJVA is what the Israelites recommend because it has all the books in it that the so-called whites, who are the Edomites of the Bible, took out, right? 26, and when you have finished something, you shall make public, right? And you shall publish his writings, and some you shall deliver in secret to the wise, talking about the men of the elect. Tomorrow at this hour you shall begin to write. All right. So again, when we read Esdras, it's important to read Esdras. Esdras talks about the world before it was destroyed, the first world before it was destroyed. But then again, the Most High Yahweh explained to Esdras that there's 12 parts of the world, and at the time they were in the ninth part, and even the 10th part was halfway completed. And now we should be like in the 12th part for the most part. All right. It says, hear these words, O Israel. At first our ancestors lived as aliens in Egypt, and they were liberated from there and received the law of life, Khan, which they did not keep, right? Which you also have transgressed after them. So again, searching for a wife amongst a bunch of females that are not even keepers of the law, that's diabolical. The outcome will be the same with these females unless they've converted their values and their faith. They're going to continue to get the same outcomes with monogamy. All right, monogamy, the same outcomes from a bunch of females that are adulterous, a bunch of females that have historically shitted on men, women, and children in relationships. All right, I would not want to search out a relationship amongst these females that have a history of pulling the plug, running off with children, getting abortions, all right, and accusing these their lovers, of dealing with multiple females and giving themselves the right to crash out, kill children, kill men, all right, all in the name of monogamy, all right? A bunch of offended, bitter females giving themselves the license to kill, all right? Pretty much grading their own papers, right? You know how you go to class when you was in school and you had to pass your papers to your peers and your peers graded your papers? Well, these females that promote monogamy, they're just grading their own papers, man. I wouldn't find myself with none of these females, and I wouldn't take none of them serious, man. It'd be like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, man. You know what I'm saying? How they were shooting it out in their mansion, shooting at each other in the house. I couldn't deal with no monogamous woman, man. It'd be a shootout, man. All right? Monogamy sucks. Monogamy is a death sentence because it comes with too many accusations, man. These females become the accusers of their lovers. They're all over the place accusing their lovers. So again, let me read a little more of this and I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. It says 30, and receive the law of life, which they did not keep, which you also have transgressed after them. The land was given to you for possession in the land of Zion, but you and your ancestors committed iniquity and did not keep the ways of the Most High. All right? For the most part, like I say, monogamy is a death sentence because, again, it's unlawful. It's unlawful to try to, you know, um, accuse a man and only demand that a man deal with this one woman. Man, these women are not amazing. One woman in America is not the total package. She has to be amongst the hopeful elect. She has to damn near be a virgin, man. You know what I'm saying? And she has to be a law keeper, a keeper of the laws of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, one amazing woman. The woman that coming to America jumping up on one down, she was amazing. From birth, she was amazing. From birth, she was groomed and raised to be with a prince and a king. That one woman was amazing. All right. And I would have multiple wives like that. Instead of having multiple side chicks over here, they're not even good at being side chicks over here. All right? They're not the gatekeepers of relationships. And monogamy, for the most part, gives these females the right to be single mothers, the right to kill babies, the right to kill men, the right to disobey their husband, the right to divorce, the right to... So nah, man. Monogamy is a death sentence. That's what this video is about. Study monogamy and look at the crash outs. Look at how the females control monogamy. Look at how the females dictate men and determine the value of the man. I would never promote monogamy. Not ever. I'm not promoting multiple wives, but I'm not promoting monogamy. Monogamy is a death sentence. All right? I think that's the name of this video. Monogamy is a death sentence. And I don't have no videos. I don't have all this content like the nigga Olympics. No, it's just straight to the point. Monogamy is a death sentence. It's another death sentence. All right? Because I'm reading Esdras and talking about the world and how the Most High say separate from the world. All right? Now look, we're going to keep going. It says, but you and your ancestors committed iniquity and did not keep the ways of the Most High. Why would I want to marry a woman that's not keeping the ways of the Most High and accepting me having multiple wives? All right? I would never deal with a female that doesn't accept my values and Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. It's okay if she's not into the truth, but she still has to accept me for being in the truth, okay? And the ways of the Most High commanded you, and since he is a righteous judge, in due time he took from you what he had given, and now you are here, and your people are farther in the interior, all right? And you then will rule over your minds and discipline your hearts, and you shall be kept alive. And after death you shall obtain mercy. After death, all right? It says, for after death the judgment will come, and the death will come after Salakia 35. For after death the judgment will come, and death will come when we shall live again, and then the names of the righteous shall become manifest. All right, talking about the elect. All right, and the deeds of the ungodly shall be disclosed. All right. But let no one come to me now, and let no one seek me for 40 days. I'll leave second address in the description below. I want to end this video right here on this note, because what's coming after America will be much better than what's in America. And me personally, I can show these females how to not be with nobody unless they are amongst the elect. All right. Unlike these females over here who promote monogamy and can't be and don't know how to be with one man. All right. And don't know how to choose one man to be with. All right. I'll have a better chance in the kingdom with having a family. I gave up on having a family over here in America. I gave up on, the children. I gave up on being a father over here in America. And I felt 100% better when I did what Edris was being told. All right, separate. All right, separate. I separated, and these people didn't. So I separated. All right, and too bad Christianity doesn't promote separation. They promote integration, because Christianity is white supremacy, and white supremacy can't work unless they have slaves. And just like the so-called black female and her lifestyles of dating doesn't work unless men are sponsoring it, white supremacy doesn't work unless they have slaves. So what goes around comes around. These females who promote monogamy, they're looking to control men and to overtake men and to take children and hijack children from the men. And the females, they don't know how to be with one man. They've had every opportunity to be with one man, and they haven't been able to do it. They'll blame the men, but again, the men are the blame. The men are the gatekeepers of a relationship. But feminism would say that the men have to share their authority, and they have to be equal to the females. That's universalism and feminism. All right. And for the most part, feminism and universalism has destroyed monogamy, along with the so-called black female fatigue. Christianity destroyed monogamy. Whole culture destroyed monogamy. The heifers, scallywags, they destroyed monogamy, because the so-called black community has been hijacked by hoes, heifers, and scallywags. All right? Hoes, heifers, and scallywags. And for the most part, these females are adulterous, because like monogamy says, it gives them the license to have multiple lovers. Nothing about monogamy says that the females cannot marry multiple times. It says one man at a time, one marriage at a time. That's what monogamy is, one marriage at a time. But it doesn't promote virginity. It doesn't say that these females cannot have multiple lovers. It just says practice of marrying only once in a lifetime. They can barely get that. And when they do get that, they divorce. So they're not monogamous. All right, these females are not good at being with one man, okay? And they can't even fulfill one man for life. They're bad at that too. They like to have children, go through the family phase, and then divorce after the children leave the house. They don't want to remain married to their husbands, just like Michelle Obama did. She didn't want to stay married to Barack. When someone gets a chance, go look at the interview of Michelle Obama after she was married, or after Obama wasn't president no more. She said how she didn't feel the need to be with him anymore. She fought. She said she punched and kicked the entire marriage when he was president. She went along with it, she said, but she went along with it kicking and punching. All right, and then it says single marriage, right? Single, alone. So that's another monogamy. Monogamy is them being single and alone. And for the most part, I would rather these females here in America leave men and children alone and date themselves. All right, take yourself on a date. Since you don't want to spend your money on the man, then spend your money on yourself. Date yourself and leave men and children alone. Dating needs to be, dating has been hijacked by, like, you know, monogamy has been hijacked by a bunch of females who don't want to be married. Salakia. Yeah, for the most part, monogamy has been hijacked by a bunch of universalism. All right, a bunch of lifestyles, homosexuality, universalism, idol worshiping. Right, they worship Jesus. That's an idol. Idol worshiping, feminism, heifers and whores and hoes and scallywags. It's been hijacked by single motherhood. Right. So I think that's an achievement for females. They have the children. They have their separate values. They have their prerogative. They can kill children, you know what I'm saying? Crash out on men, accuse men, all these accusations. Look, man, I think they've achieved monogamy. Monogamy is them being by themselves, you know what I'm saying, with the benefits of a mother, but really they're not single mothers most of the time because they have benefits, and then they have these fathers that still support the children. So they're not single mothers, they're just unmarried women with children born out of wedlock. Terrible, terrible resumes, man. If you look at their track record, they're a bunch of they're adulterous. All right. So this has been a beat. Hopefully somebody's been edified. Monogamy is a death trap. All right. I mean a death sentence. Men, save yourselves from this world that doesn't love you. Men, save yourselves from these females that don't love you. All right. If your children has been hijacked, again, to hell with those children. To hell with these females that are not grounded in truth, the truth of the Bible. A lot of worldly ass females out here still looking for lovers to overtake. All right, save yourselves from being lovers of these females. Don't make it easy for these females to be adulterous. All right. But I want to wish all of my subscribers high health and high spirits. I want to thank all 210 of my subscribers. I want to wish that all of my subscribers, you and your loved ones, are safe and protected against these agendas that are waged against us here behind enemy lines here in America. Shalom.